This is the first video of the topic series Energy Resources and Energy Transfer. When we discuss about energy, we need to understand the forms of energy where we meet in our day-to-day life. If you get the sound energy, the things what we hear around us, the kinetic energy remain in a moving object, nuclear energy is a kind of a chemical energy type which stored in a substance, but it's not due to chemical reaction. The thermal energy or heat, that is due to the temperature. Gravitational potential energy stored in an object stored in a higher position. Elastic potential energy, which stored in a stretched rubber band. The chemical energy producers due to fuel combustion, etc. The electrical energy stored in electricity. The light energy, which comes from sun, for example. So these are the general forms of energy we meet in our day-to-day life. Then we can get the types of energy. The mechanical energy, if I start, where you can see this mechanical energy in a moving car, in a leaping frog. Those are the places where we can see the mechanical energy. Where we can see thermal energy, melting ice cream, a heating soup. So these places we can see the thermal energy. Where we can see electromagnetic energy, invisible light. Light is type of electromagnetic phase. Therefore, a visible light contains some part of electromagnetic energy. Infrared radiation, radio waves. All of these facts are operated with electromagnetic radiation. Therefore, we can see electromagnetic energy in that formats. The electrical energy in power lines, lightning, all of the place we can see this electrical energy. The chemical energy, the food what we eat, it stores chemical energy. Striking a light match. There also you can see some kind of chemical energy stored in it. The nuclear energy. We will learn this process called nuclear fusion in our future videos. In sun or stars, we can see kind of nuclear energy. Then nuclear fission inside the earth core, or some situations in our day-to-day life, we can see some part of nuclear fissions as well. So these are the types of energy where we can observe in our day-to-day life. The next important part is kind of energy conversions. We know that when you're riding a bicycle, you eat, therefore the chemical energy stored in your body. When you ride a bicycle, it converts into mechanical energy. In a battery, we know that chemical energy stored in it. When you light a bulb, that chemical energy converts into light. If you light a lampshade, the electrical energy converts into light. In a moving vehicle, the fuel contains chemical energy that's stored into mechanical energy. Mechanical energy is stored in a moving objects. When you keep a plant in sunlight, the light energy converts into chemical energy inside the plant. In a toaster, the electrical energy heat up the substances in it, it converts into thermal energy or heat. The next important topic we have to learn is renewable energy. From this word even we can understand that you can get it again and again, renew. Renewable energy often refers to the that are constantly replenished, means you can replace them again and again. That's a simple idea of renewable energy. When we consider this renewable energy, they are often very clean, means it carries a less amount of pollution and it comes from most of the natural sources. What are the examples for renewable energy? Solar energy. We know that every day we get sunlight, therefore it contains solar energy. Biomass energy. We can convert biogas. Some we got food waste and different kind of waste you can store in some kind of barrels and you can generate biogas. From this biogas, it's converting to different kind of energy, that is biomass energy. The next one is wind. We know that we turn up wind turbines, we generate electricity. That one also some kind of a renewable energy. Geothermal energy. You can see geothermal energy is a very advanced technique where it generates electricity. What we can see in the earth core, it stores a lot of thermal energy. This thermal energy converts into different energy time at the surface of the earth, that is called geothermal energy. Hydropower energy. Hydropower energy means if you store some kind of water in a higher position and let it flow from that higher position to lower position, that mechanical energy of the flowing water converts into electrical energy or some kind of mechanical energy, etc. Those are the energy types called as uh, hydropower energy. What are the advantages and disadvantages of renewable energy? If I start with wind energy, you know that advantages are no air or no pollution, no water pollution. There is no pollution from wind energy. Free source of energy, no need of spending any money for wind. Wind farms are relatively inexpensive, means you can plant a wind turbine, therefore you can generate electricity having a very low cost. The land of the wind farms can use for other purposes only. So there is no pollution or no different kind of disturbance with this energy plant. So in that case, you can plant this wind plant at any place you like, and around it you can do any kind of uh, plant or any kind of work. You can utilize that land for different purposes. What are the disadvantages? Requires constant and significant amount of air. Can you plant a wind plant at a place where you cannot get, where the wind is not blowing? No, it's not possible. Definitely, you should have a significant amount of air flow to generate wind energy from a wind turbine. Requires a significant amount of space. You know that when you plant a wind turbine, it takes some kind of a large space. In between buildings, you cannot construct a windmill. Have visual impact or on landscapes. Means that is what I mentioned. So through in between buildings, you cannot do a kind of a construction of a windmill. Those are the disadvantage. Then let's come up with solar energy. The best advantage is infinite source of supply. You can get any amount of sunlight you want. No air and water pollution. No pollution at all. But what are the disadvantages? Manufacture and implementation of solar energy panels are costly. You know that to plant a solar panel, it's kind of costly compared with other energy formats. Therefore, you need a large capital to start a solar panel. Storage and backup is mandatory. So you cannot straightforward utilize this solar power. You have to store them in a battery or some place. Then only you can use it. Workability depends on the availability of sunlight. So So every day you cannot produce the same amount of electricity. It depends on the amount of sunlight falls. Those are the disadvantages. If you come up with hydropower, what are the advantages? Sources are abundant, clear and safe. No standby losses. Relatively inexpensive. Those are the advantages. That means you can see hydropower, you can store water into a higher position and let it flow and you can generate. So there is no pollution, and if you want, you can store this water at a higher position. We can control this flow. With that, that is kind of consistent compared with solar energy and wind energy. You can store water at a higher position in some kind of reservoir, and we can let it flow according to our requirement, and we can generate hydropower. Those are the advantages. Disadvantages: costly to build. You know that to build a reservoir is quite costly. Can cause flood. Yes, if the reservoir wall breaks, what happens? It causes totally flooded the area. So it's kind of a disadvantage. Uncertainty of availability of water. You know that if a drought comes, the total reservoir get dried out. So in that case, you cannot produce electricity from hydropower at dry seasons. Those are the disadvantages. We will come up with bioenergy. Bioenergy means we produce some kind of energy using biological waste, just like food waste, plant waste, etc. The advantages are cheap and it burns waste products. Those are the advantages. Then what are the disadvantages? When burns, it comes to atmospheric pollution, including GHGs, means like it produces a lot of biological gases which can be quite form kind of air pollution as well. Biomass is only renewable if the crops are replanted. That's a next disadvantage in renewable energy. Right. Then let's come up with geothermal energy. The potentially infinite energy supply. So you can get a lot of energy from geothermal, but the disadvantage is setup and development cost can be very expensive. That means to plant a geothermal energy plant, it's quite expensive, and all the places you cannot plant a geothermal plant. The reason is that it should be planted at a position where the geothermal is pop up, just like volcanoes. So these are the kind of advantages and disadvantages of renewable energy. Let's move up to non-renewable energy. That is the opposite of it. The renewable energy means it's renewing, that energy is renewing again and again. Non-renewable means you cannot renew it again. When you use it once, it will run out forever or for a very long period of time. That is what you mean by non-renewable energy. For example, if you burn some kind of oil and if you generate, can you get that oil back? No, you can't get it. But if you get a hydropower station, the water is flowing to a lower position. With rain, it can come up to the higher position again. Therefore, you can get it back. The sunlight, today also we get sunlight. Does it mean that that sunlight is already over? No. Next day also we are getting sunlight. So those are renewable. Non-renewable means if you use it again, you cannot use it again forever or for a very long period of time. For example, fossil fuel, coal, what do you call that? Some kind of some kind of gases and nuclear energy. Those are the examples for non-renewable energy. Right. Then let's come up with the advantages and disadvantages of coal. If you use coal, I think you know what I mean by coal. Means where you burn and you produces energy from coal stations. What are the advantages? Plenty still remain in the world. You know that at the present stock there is a quite large amount of coal is there. You can utilize the existing coal for a long period of time further. The next advantages can be easily transported into another place. That means that you can transport using trucks, trains, etc. Burning coal is kind of cheap. That's the next advantage. The next advantage is a most plentiful energy source. That's what is the same thing what I explained over here in the first advantage. You can see there are quite a big amount of energy you can produce, right? Liquefied, gasified coal burns cleaner. That's the next advantage, right? Inexpensive and lower energy bills. As I mentioned, it does not costly much to produce coal or what do you call energy from coal. The disadvantages. Mines are dangerous in ISO. Right? That is what. So, you mining coal is very dangerous profession. Then the other main disadvantage is cause lot of pollution. Coal releases most of the greenhouse gases. It is non-renewable. You cannot get, once you burn some kind of a coal, you cannot get it back. Breathing in the dust can cause us lot of harm in miners. That's what. So if you breathe this, what you call coal dust, it's quite cancer effective. Contributes to acid rain. That means when you burn coal, the gases produces over there, it contributes to acid rain. Releases lot of carbon dioxide. Those are the disadvantages of burning coal to produce energy. Let's come up with the other popular energy source. Fossil fuels. What are the advantages? That one also produces lot of energy, and it's transporting oil from one place to next point is very easy. The other one is what you call digging fossil. After digging a fossil fuel, you can get ample amount of it, and it's very easy to find. The next advantage is power stations that make use of oil can be constructed in almost any location. There is no problem whatever, not like a wind plant or a hydropower station. So to plant a wind plant, you need a point where the wind is blowing properly. For a hydropower station, it should be planted at a place where you can have a quite plenty amount of a rain. But what do you call that, fossil fuel or a coal plant, say a coal plant can be stored at any point you like. Right. What are the disadvantages? Basically, the main drawback of fossil fuel is pollution. It brings lot of disastrous gas when you burn fossil fuels. Right. It also produces sulfuric dioxide as a gas and contributes acid rain. That's another major disadvantages of fossil fuel. Right. Mining coal can be difficult and dangerous. Strip mines destroy large areas of landscape. What do you call that, the mining, these fossil fuels and coal both have the same disadvantage. What do you call it, destroy a lot of land through while when we are digging for fossil fuel or coal, right? Then the next one is this one also common for coal and fossil fuel, that is why I just marked it as coal. The coal fire power station or the fossil fuel power station needs huge amount of fuel, and which means a train load of fuel or coal must be constantly. So you have to provide a lot of what you call coal or fossil fuel to produce energy in this. When you produce fossil energy from fossil fuels, those are the disadvantages where we can see. Then the nuclear energy, right? This topic is kind of a new topic for a country like Sri Lanka, but it's a very popular energy production in a country like Europe, USA, Australia, uh, Russia, etc. Right? Okay. Let's see what are the advantages. Later on, we have a different topic to discuss about nuclear power stations and nuclear energy. For the moment, we have to understand about a basic concept about advantages and disadvantages of producing energy using nuclear power. Right? Advantages: no greenhouse gases. Yes, during a nuclear energy production, no disastrous gas releases. A little make a lot of energy. That means after what you call reacting a small amount of nuclear substance, you can produce a very heavy amount of energy. Later on, we will do a calculation in the topic called nuclear energy. We realize that it is massive. The other one is reliable, like not it's not like sunshine or hydropower or geothermal or anywhere else. Like once you start to generate this energy, it exists for a long period of time, and it's very reliable. Reliable means it's well, like when you start a power, what you call power station using nuclear energy, it continuously function for around 50 to 100 years. So throughout that time, the energy production is constantly happen, and it's a very reliable energy source. Right. Then the disadvantages. The first one is radioactive waste is really destructive. So if you expose into radioactive waste, definitely you will get what you call die, or sometimes it might cause for very what you call main scale of harmful effects, just like mutation, etc. Other disadvantages, supplies will run out in 50 years, right? That's the other disadvantage. Next one is power stations are risk of being attacked. Yes. Actually, this is very risky energy source because it since it contains a lot of energy, it's really destructive, right? It is needed, uh, it takes a lot of days to shut down a power plant. Suppose that if you want to shut down a power plant, you cannot do it at once. It takes long period of time to shut down a nuclear power station, right? So in a way, if you want to shut down even, you cannot do it. That is the next disadvantage, right? In a nuclear meltdown, high dosage of radioactivity is export. Actually, that is the other risk where we can see, you can see the amount of nuclear, what you call radioactivity remaining in the substance are really high, and it's really destructive. Those are the disadvantages of nuclear energy, right? So today in this topic, we will discuss about the main energy sources, and what are the day-to-day life energy sources, and what are their advantages and what are their disadvantages. Hope you have understood the contents in this video, and if you like this video, put a thumbs up and share with your friends. To watch more educational videos, please subscribe my channel and click on the bell icon. See you from next videos.